hi there, Minder.
Well, hi.
Oh, my mic just fucked
Decide
off.
to, nope, I'm out.
It said, good night. I'm gonna do my best not to be so hollery this time and talk a little softer because when I was editing today, um, and listening to our episode that aired last week, I was screaming. I was screamy. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that this room is much larger. Well, not much larger. This room is much emptier than the room I originally recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So the noise got a lot farther to travel and echo in. So we're gonna just try to be more cognizant of that today. I've turned my gains all the way down. So hopefully, I would rather you have to turn me up than turn me down because you sounded normal and I was screaming at folks, genuinely yelling. Um, so it's not cool. Anyway, we have a special guest here today, guys. Do you want to say hi? Unnamed fellow as of yet. Say hi
Yeah.
to everybody, sir. I think he's a sir. We need some
What's
testosterone in this
what's
place.
what's the name of, because basically he's a skeleton and Nikki wanted some suggestions of skeleton names, and so I gave her some, but now I just thought of another one. Who was the skeleton taxi driver in Halloween Town? What was the name of him?
Oh,
Benny or
the
something?
Benny
Yeah.
is Benny.
Mm-hmm.
Benny Bones.
It's reminding me, because I said
Yep.
like Davy Bones. You said Jack, obviously, like in Skellington and Skeletor, and
Yeah. Yep.
I
I like Benny Bones. I think it's
yeah
cute.
I saw another one online. It was Captain Jack Marrow.
Jack Marrow. I love that.
Captain Jack Marrow.
That's cute. I think I like Benny Bones. That's cute. Kind of like Bobby
Mm-hmm.
Bones, that radio
Yeah.
personality, but it's Benny Bones. And then Noah, he did have my or Nick's cans on. But then Noah decided he would rather put his Gravity Falls hat on him. So Benny is currently wearing Noah's hat. So Benny's probably not going to be in frame the whole time, otherwise there's all this dead space. But we just wanted y'all to say hi to Benny. Say hi, Benny. And Benny's gonna fuck off here in a minute out of frame. But that's Benny, guys. He was a 5 foot tall, posable skeleton. And I found him at Aldi for $30. Did
Yeah,
I need to spend
I
$30?
saw it.
No.
You
But did I? Yes.
did. That was the choice you made.
It was a choice I made, and you know what? I'm gonna get every ounce of $30 out of him because he's gonna live in our home and outside. And he's a part of the family now.
I mean,
So
for Christmas, you can get like Christmas lights and just put it between
you
his ribs and
goddamn right.
everything. Mm-hmm.
You got him right. He's gonna be decked out for every season. And he's gonna hang out with us sometimes. And he's gonna live in here. Because we have an extra office chair when the kids aren't using it. So here he is. Benny Bones. Third member of the show.
Also, hi. We are a podcast.
Yeah, hi, we're a podcast. And we're best friends. And we talk about dumb things. Because we are sometimes dumb. And we also talk about neurodivergent things. Because we are neurodivergent. And we are traveling this beautiful neuroverse together. Because we are living in a neurotypical world. And we are not neurotypical girls. Amanda, what did I say we're talking about today?
You said you had a theory about
Yeah.
JD Vance, and so
Mm-hmm.
we're basically lately you've been doing recording two-parters and in one sitting, but we're doing a little different this time because neither of us have read his book, the Hillbilly Elegy, or seen the movie, the Netflix movie. And I didn't even realize it was the same guy
Yeah.
until a couple months ago, probably like a couple weeks after he was announced as the VP pick. So yeah, if you're not in the US or follow politics, which I don't blame you, JD Vance
Yeah.
is the vice presidential like nomination on the Republican ticket under Trump. So, but yeah, I didn't realize it was the same guy because I worked at Barnes and Noble when Hillbilly Elegy came out, the book, when it came out, because I remember the cover and did not put two and two together. And then it was actually my mom. She was at her friend's house down in Florida and she wanted to show her the movie. And I thought that was really strange. I was like, why do you want to show her like a movie that's 4 years old, like 4 or 5 years old? I don't. Oh, okay. And so
Right.
even the Netflix password so they could watch it. And then it wasn't until like a week later, I'm like, oh, this is the same guy, and that's why she wanted to watch Hillbilly. So basically, what we're doing is we're basically giving our thoughts about the man, and mostly Nikki talking about her theories about him before we watch the movie. We're not going to read the book. We don't care that much. So before we read the movie, or before we watch the movie, and then we're going to watch the movie and then record a second half of either further thoughts or like how the movie affected our thoughts about him, all that good stuff. In terms of timeline right now, just yesterday was the debate, the vice presidential debate between Vance and Walls. Nikki watched it. I've seen highlights and clips of it. Um, so basically, we're just kind of going off our initial thoughts on the guy in general and what we know about him and all that stuff before we watch,
Right.
and then we'll do another one after we watch the movie.
Correct.
Yes.
Um, so I say let's jump in because I feel like this is gonna get meaty. So let's get old bones out the frame here. Because otherwise we're gonna have a bunch of dead space.
Scoot on over, sir.
Um yeah, scoot on over, sir, and let me adjust my camera angle here so I'm a little more centered. There we go. That's almost center. Okay, cool. So I I have been doing a lot of like thinking and I want to try as best as possible to like pull up and zoom out a little bit on all of this shit that's going on in our country. It is so easy to get like sucked in and sucked down any kind of rabbit hole you want to go down right now when it comes to political shit because any opinion you have, you can find about 4,000 plus people or more that have the same one. And then you can get stuck in these feedback loops, right? And I'm trying my best to be as objective and as educated as possible. Is it always good? Am I always that great at it? No. Is it always effective? No. Does it always change my mind? No. But this to me is something that I've been thinking about since I heard some of the things he has said prior to being associated with Donald Trump. Okay. I watched a very informative video, and if you do not already follow the channel Fundie Fridays on YouTube, you need to go do that. It's a great channel, and I'm going to link the video that I watched down in the comments for YouTube because I don't think I can put it in our description just yet, and then it'll be in the show notes on all the podcast platforms that allow that. But it was a very informative, and though there is clear like there's clear bias on who they vote for and how they are aligned politically on that channel. Not bias I disagree with, but like just in general, right? They obviously
That
lean one way and that's
everyone's
fine.
biased. Everyone's
Correct.
biased.
Like that they lean one way and that's fine. I feel like he did a rather good job of just presenting the facts
He
on
usually
who
does.
is this man,
He
right?
usually does when it comes to because Jen, she goes by Reverend Jen. She's the one that started the show. This is when her
Yeah.
and James were or started the channel when her and James were just dating. Then they got engaged. Now they're married. So he had like a full-time job. He has like his master's in like social work and stuff like that. And so he quit to like not only help her, but because they were making enough money, they didn't need his income from that anymore. So,
Correct.
but she mainly focuses on the Fundie stuff of Fundie Fridays. She usually like cults or evangelicalism, and stuff like that. And they also talk about conservatism and gay stuff, as they say.
Right. Pop
And
culture and
so,
gay stuff. Yeah.
yep. And he tends to focus on politics. So he will do one on, like, he did one on Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, other
Mm-hmm.
people. So they're both funny. They're both hilarious. But and he obviously they are opinionated. He's opinionated. He will outright say, well, that's absolute bullshit, or that's so stupid. But then he is pretty good about and he'll correct himself. He like in editing, he'll be like, by the way, I made a mistake. This is actually this is what they said, or this is what they did. I said this, but this is actually what
Right.
happened. And so he'll correct himself. So, but yeah, go on.
So, I was trying to find a specific thing right now. I don't know if I'll find it, but um, I really appreciated how he represented who he felt JD Vance was, gave a lot of nuance to the person that we see today. It gave a lot of background and it gave a lot of understanding as to how he might have become the person that we see today, right? Does it excuse all of his behavior? No. Does it for anybody else? No. But it is what it is,
Gives
right? It was great
context.
background. Right. It gives context. And I love me some good context, okay? I love to have things in context. Because shit just living out in the open is like blurbs and shit. I don't feel like that does much for me. Okay? I want to know what the fucking full picture is here. Having sort of learned what I know about him at this point from that video, and then hearing some of his stances prior to being Trump's running mate, and then hearing him debate last night. Or, I'm sorry, I skipped a step. Hearing him prior Trump running mate, hearing him on the campaign trail,
Yeah,
and what he's been saying since
all the
he's been
interviews and stuff.
attached,
Mm-hmm.
right? Since he's been attached to Trump, and then hearing him debate last night, I'm starting to form. I don't want to call it a conspiracy theory, but it's a theory, okay? Because I try not to dig too much into that shit, but you can call it what you want. I'm developing a theory that maybe, agree with him or don't, and I'm not saying that I do, agree with him or don't, maybe this man is a fuck of a lot smarter than people might be giving him credit for. Okay? And here's why I think that. I think he has chosen to attach himself to Trump because, like it or don't, he does have Trump, keeping Trump, does have, I mean, per all polling, it's a technically pretty even race. He's got a pretty even shot here, right? At becoming the next president.
And people
And
underestimated him in
clearly,
2016. So
correct. And he was very underestimated in 2016. And I have a feeling a lot of people are doing that again. I think they're resting on him being tied to this Project 2025, people trying to intrinsically tie him to 2025, even though we all know what we know at this point about that 2025 thing. He has vehemently denied that he has anything to do with it. Okay? That is his stance. You can believe him or you cannot. I'm inclined to not. But that is still his stance. Okay? We're dealing in the facts right now. We're not dealing in our feelings. We're dealing in what is the facts. The facts are he is denying, Vance is denying that they have anything to do with that 2025, the Project 2025 shit. Okay? That's what they're saying. Project 2025 people would like that to not be the case, but that's what they're saying. And he said it again last night on the debate stage. And I think people are resting a little bit on the fact that Trump is so divisive and so blatant and so unhinged it's the shit that he says, that he's stuck his foot in his mouth and showed his ass too many times for anyone to ever reelect him. And that clearly this is no contest. And Kamala has this in the bag.
Basically, Vance gives him some credence.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Trump knew he needed Vance, and Vance knew he needed Trump. This is a relationship of mutual, what do they call that? Mutual benefit. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think we're gonna focus on how this benefits Vance. Okay. I think this benefits Vance because it gives him a massive stage, a global stage. Even if he doesn't win the White House, even if they don't win the White House, it gave him a massive stage to put his viewpoints, his charisma, his speaking talent, his fucking like blue collar relatability out on a global stage that he didn't have before as a, what is he, a senator? Senator, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But if they do win the fucking White House, he also knows that motherfucker can only be there for 4 years. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah, then he can run.
Exactly.
Or, exactly. Trump can die. So.
Exactly. But here's the thing. He is being very strategic in what he says and what he doesn't say, and how he says the things he says. And that was made very clear to me last night when I was watching him speak. He knows that if he gets in that White House, even as just VP, right? Although that ain't nothing. And he can be the best, most involved, most globe-trotting, most problem-solving.
Think Dick Cheney.
VP you've ever seen. Exactly. That no matter what happens during Trump's 4 years, as long as he continues to stand on his own merit as what he did as vice president, he has a chance to get presidency, and he knows Trump will back him. So everyone who voted for Trump that got Trump in the office gonna vote for Vance because we like Trump and Vance so much the first 4 years. We want to keep that momentum going, so we're gonna elect Vance. And Vance can have 8 years, not 4. Granted, he'll have to try again in 4, but he has the potential for 8 years. He's not a dumb person, right? He's very strategic, and he's very smart, and he's very calculated. And I think if this goes how I think he's thinking, if this plays out, that is fucking genius to me. And I think he's been a step ahead of that for a while now. And I don't know if everybody's seeing it. I'm not saying this is like some groundbreaking shit I'm dropping on fucking some podcast that barely anybody listens to. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, I don't know how many people are thinking about it from that angle. Because he's already skilled in how to handle a flip-flop.
Yeah, because he's been cited multiple times as not agreeing with Trump, not liking Trump before Trump was elected, while Trump was president, all that stuff, and now all of a sudden he's like like I remember one of the highlights of the debate I saw, he's like, well, we're allowed to change your opinion, which is true. You're allowed to change your
Right.
opinion, but also it's like, dude, to me that makes you look anytime a politician does that, it just makes it look like a flip flopper. Like you
Right.
don't hold to your standards. Like, oh, now all of a sudden you don't like Trump or you like Trump
When it
when
benefits you.
when it benefits you. Where
Mm-hmm.
Trump has not changed. Trump has not
Correct.
changed since 2015. He has not. He has been the same person since 2015, but now your opinion has changed of him.
Right. But think
Okay,
about who he's trying to convince about that.
right.
He's not going to try to convince the people that don't like Trump. He's trying to convince the people that like Trump to be like, why are you all of a sudden flip flopping over here? What do you want to do with him?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, I was believing that rhetoric that the other side, they got me. They got me with that rhetoric. That rhetoric dangerous.
And to be fair,
It
though,
got me,
a
you
lot of
know?
a lot of Republicans back then, I mean, and now, did not like Trump. Like a lot of Trump did not have a lot of support from
Right.
like hardline Republicans back then because they're like, okay, he's
Right.
too out there. This is too much. Like, and you can say, and this I hate this. Like when people say this, I like Trump because he's not a politician. He is a politician. He is a
Right.
fucking politician. He was president. That is the politician. So
Correct.
and
He's
yes, you can
one
say that
now.
he's tried running for president multiple times. I think, yeah,
Correct.
multiple times. And so it's like he's a politician. If you're running for office for something, you're a politician.
Right.
Um, he might not be like a long-standing one or like in what he calls the swamp, which he just helped fill even more. But
Right.
so a lot of like hardline Republicans don't like him because he just shook everything up too much. And of
Yeah.
course, that's what made a lot of people like Trump. They're like, I like him because he's different. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, but that's like saying, I sure like the janitor of the hospital. I want him to do the brain surgery on me. I want him to do my brain
Correct.
surgery because he just shake things up. It's like no no no
Yeah.
no 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 no.
Right. Exactly. So again, we don't have to like what he stands for or how he's going about getting what he wants right now to see and appreciate that he's good at doing what he's doing to
Yeah,
get there.
like
Do you know what I mean?
even like Nikki
Like,
messaged me when she was watching the debate. She's like, I hate to say it, but he's like wiping the floor. Like Vance is wiping the floor with walls. And I haven't seen the full debate. It's to me, okay, I'll be perfectly honest, it's hard for me to watch speeches like in general. Like there's very few people whose speeches I can watch. Like not in movies and stuff, but like actual like real people speeches.
yeah.
Um it's hard for me because it's almost like not secondhand embarrassment. It's also like it's something I have to pause constantly. Like Vance is a
And we
speaker.
did.
Yeah, Vance is a speaker that I can watch for probably more than 5 minutes. Like Obama is one I can watch for more than 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Trump I can't watch for more than 30 seconds. Like
No,
even
he
like list
irritates me.
even listening to Walls. Like Walls is a very likable guy. He's a very like affable, like very Midwestern dad coach vibes, right? But it's also hard
Mhm.
for me to watch his speech. So it's like I had to like watch a highlight video because it's hard for me to watch that sort of stuff. And so I even told Nikki, I said, well, there's no denying that Vance is a good speaker. Like
Yeah.
there's no denying it. Like say what you will about Obama, like he's a good speaker. Whether you like him or not,
Absolutely.
he's a good speaker. Like
Yeah.
Bush was not a good speaker. There's just people that are
No.
good speakers and people that aren't good speakers. So
Right.
I will admit, even though Vance is basically everything, like there's probably I will be hard pressed to find a single thing that like Vance and I agree on that he's not lying about. Like he in the one of the highlights he talked about how if you care so much about the climate, then we should bring back these manufacturing jobs to the U.S., which is true. But it's also like, but the Republicans are all about saving money too, so they're not really against outsourcing stuff to China, India, Mexico, and stuff. So
And
him
haven't
saying
been in
that,
the past however
yeah,
many fucking years.
and so him
So,
saying that means nothing to me. Like so, there, like I said, it'll be hard pressed for me to find something me and Vance agree on policy wise that he actually believes, like actually
Yeah.
would put his whole soul and being like in like backing his statements up. But there's no denying that he is smart. Like he did, from what I understand, start from nothing. And granted, he got to where he is because of billionaire backers and all that and whatever. So it's, say what you will, but he is smart. He knows how to play the game. So I don't agree with really anything he says, because he thinks people like me, granted, I don't have cats, but I'm a childless lady, and how we're ruining society.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing that me and him agree on, but he is smart, and I can say he he knows how to play the game.
Yeah. And I think I think that people need to take a step back and zoom out a little bit on this altogether because it's getting almost it's all consuming. And this is every year, every election year around this time. It's all consuming, right? We need this information to be informed, but half the information isn't informative. It's just fucking opinions. And then that leads to more conjecture. And then that leads to more misinformation. And you don't know what's right and what's fucking wrong or what's up and what's fucking down. And that's not a fun place to be.
No.
But I can tell you this, I do not think that even Vance believes everything that he's saying.
He has to like
I
tout
don't.
the party line. He has to
Correct.
basically say what Trump wants him to say. And
Correct.
I do believe Vance is smarter than Trump.
Yes.
I wholeheartedly believe that because, well, Trump says absolutely stupid and asinine things. He also wouldn't have got to where he is if he wasn't at least a little bit smart, right?
Correct.
Because like I think Trump is an idiot in terms of just the way he acts, but the fact that, because you can be an absolute idiot, but the fact that if you can manipulate people, there's some sort of intelligence that requires you to be, I don't want to say charismatic, because to me Trump is not charismatic, because he would be a lot more likable if he was. He's not.
No.
So the
He's
fact that he's able,
inflammatory.
yeah, and so that's why
Yeah.
when people on the left like say, or like say like, well, isn't, like, I feel like Trump is the antichrist. No, the antichrist has to be charismatic and has to be likable by more than just one side. So he's not. Even if the antichrist existed, he's not the antichrist.
Right.
He's
Shit,
like,
if anything, I'd be looking more advanced than him.
right, exactly, because like basically, like, it's kind of like the whole, and they're not comparing Trump to Hitler. I'm not comparing Trump
No.
to Hitler. I'm saying, like,
No.
think of like Hitler. Hitler would have been a good candidate for an antichrist, if it existed, because he got a
Right.
whole country to back him, basically. Granted, I know
Correct.
not all Germans backed him and stuff, and can't really put them
But it
all in
was
one,
enough.
but it was enough. And also, um, like, say what you will, obviously, about Hitler, but he was a good speaker. He was saying really shitty things, like absolutely shitty and abhorrent things, but he is a good speaker. And that's basically like, Trump says really shitty and abhorrent things, but he's not a good speaker.
Right.
And he is like a gerbil, like with ADHD when it comes to how he talks. So, yeah.
I, you know, like I said, I think if what I'm thinking is true, again, Vance has also said some fucked up shit. Okay, like it excuses nothing. This is not a JD Vance endorsement video. Okay,
No.
but the debate that I watched last night, he was compassionate. He was direct. He was to the point for the most part. He actually answered some questions. Did he actually answer every question? No. But he answered collectively, directly answered collectively more questions than Trump, Kamala, and Walz fucking combined, I think, last night. Like, don't quote me and feel free to fact check me. But like I he gave me more of what I want when I watch a debate than I have gotten this whole election cycle. I want you to answer the question. I don't have to like your answer, but I will respect you for being direct about it.
I feel like he
I'm
took.
not saying Walz didn't answer any direct questions. However, there was a lot more skirting and there was a lot more, well, Trump did, and well, Trump that, and well, Trump this, than you heard on Vance's side, well, and Kamala this, and Kamala that, and Kamala this. Like, towards the end, he was Kamala that, Kamala this, Kamala that.
Because he's
But
like
towards the
that in
beginning,
interviews.
exactly, because he can only hold it for so long. But, like, especially in the beginning, and he was doing this thing that is, I'm sure, taught in fucking schools that he's attended, where you are debating one on one with someone and you want to win, especially in the public court of public opinion, you want to win. Pretend that you agree with them more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You know what? I have to agree with Governor Walz on this. I have to agree with Governor Walz on that. I don't think." And then even Governor Walz said, "I don't think that Senator Vance and I are that far apart on this particular issue." And I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I'm not saying Walz didn't do anything. I'm not saying he bumbled the whole fucking thing up and didn't do shit. I'm just saying if you look at it from an objective standpoint that has zero to do with whatever the person was saying, okay? Take content out of it. Stylistically alone and fundamentals of debating alone, Vance killed him. He killed him. And it was almost unfair. It looked like they sent poor Walz to a fucking room full of wolves and gave him a meat dress to wear and said, "Good luck." That's what it felt like I was watching. And it was kind of shitty to me because I feel like maybe had Walz not felt like he was so on the defensive about certain things, maybe he could have had a little more time to come up with better answers. Maybe he's just not a great on the spot answer person like Vance clearly is, because I think he probably has some really good points that he was trying to make if they just weren't clearly articulated. 2 minutes is not enough time for him to get his point across, and that was made very clear. Vance, it's very clear. He didn't even need the full 2 minutes a few times. He
I mean,
quit
there
like
were
23 seconds early.
a few of the highlights I
oh,
saw. A few of the highlights I saw, they did have to keep interrupting him because he just kept fucking talking. Like
yeah, that was like twice.
Yeah, they'd interrupt him. What was it? Oh, the whole like he thinks all the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, once again doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down on the fact that all these they think Haitian immigrants or Haitian migrants are eating cats and dogs, eating people's
Right.
pets, whatever.
Yeah.
And there was an interview he did with Dana Bash on CNN a couple weeks ago or last month or something, where she outright asked him, like outright told him like, but there's been no reports, like no legitimate reports from the police force, from 911 calls, like
Right.
like about this. And he just kept going about how well, and even admitted on live TV he makes up stories so the media pays attention. And I'm like, I get, like, yelling fire when something else is happening to get people to notice what's happening, but that doesn't help things it's also the fact of, and they brought this up in the debate, and like same with that interview, just because you don't agree with the current way some people can gain temporary citizenship or temporary, like, was it TPS, temporary protected status, which is legal. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean that that makes those people illegal. He's saying
Right.
all these people in Springfield, Ohio are illegal. And then he'll outright say, because of Kamala's uh border policies, which I'm like, but they're coming from Haiti. They're not crossing the border in Mexico. That's
Right.
like nothing to do with each other. But also, like, and so they had to like tell him, because like he did that again, where talked about Kamala's border policies and all this and stuff as if she's the one that made it up, being vice president, and um and saying, well, like, made it unsafe for people and everything, and like all these illegal immigrants, and so the moderators had to correct him, and then he whined. He goes, "We agreed there was going to be no fact checking." It's like, why would you be upset about that? Hmm. It's kind of
Right. I
weird how
mean,
you're
why would
upset
you be
about that.
upset about that? Is fair. It's fair. But at the same time, like I said, I watched the whole thing. He did they were both fact checked several times,
Because they
and
even called Walls out on the couple clips I saw. They
they
called
did.
Walls out. And so, but let me finish my thought real quick. So they said, they're like, okay, you keep calling them illegal immigrants. They're not illegal. You might not agree with the process of them being deemed legal right now,
Right.
but that's beside the point. That's like
Yeah.
getting mad at someone for smoking weed and saying, well, that's illegal. It's not illegal, like, it's not illegal in Illinois. Like,
Right.
that's just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean it's illegal. It's legal. They came through a legal way. They didn't just
Right.
like all of a sudden, you know, get off a boat and they're like, oh yeah, here you go, you're a citizen. That's not how that happens. You have to apply for it
Right.
and everything. And so they were correcting him. They're like, okay, but that's the legal like they're legal because of that's the policy, that's the process. And so then that's when he whined about being fact checked. And so they're like, okay, Senator, we have other stuff to go to, we have other stuff to cover. Look, we don't have time to do that. Like, they kept, and then they let him talk for like a full minute. And they're like, even though they didn't have to, and they
Right.
finally had to cut his mic off. And I think because Walls had to like interrupt about something about some policy in the 1990s. and
Yeah.
so they're like, okay, they're like, by the way, the audience can't hear you because we cut your mics off. It's like,
Right.
basically, so they can't, basically the right, like they did with Trump's debate, and cried that ABC was biased against them because they kept fact checking Trump. It's like, well, if Trump didn't lie every 2.5 seconds, they want to keep fucking fact checking him. And so
Right.
they can't say that CBS was biased against. I'm sure they will, because they can't say CBS was biased against him because they cut his mic off and tried fact checking him when they did it to both of them. And also, like, they were more than fair. Like they said, they kept trying to cut him off, but because he just like bulldozed through them with his asinine like rhetoric, just completely ignoring the rules of the debate and just kept talking, and they just let him for a full minute before
Yeah.
finally cutting his mic off. It's like, you can't say that they were biased against him when they just let him talk when they didn't need to.
Right. I do think though that here's my take on my overall take on last night. And everyone is welcome to disagree with me. That's the beauty of this country. I think that even with all of the insanity and even with all of the bullshit and even with all of the handmaid's tale nonsense that has been floating around and coming out of their mouths, I think Vance just put a giant fucking like support under their campaign that they desperately needed. And I think he just might have tipped or completely 50-50'd out the scales on what might happen in November. And you don't have to agree with me, but I'm telling you, it did not go well for Walz. It did not go well for Kamala either. Granted, was she a hell of a lot more fucking coherent than old they're eating the cats, man? Absolutely. But most people, the consensus was that most people didn't get what they wanted out of the debate as a whole. They were looking for more from her, right? And they were looking for less of him. You know what I mean? Like the people who like him, even people who liked him were like, I feel like we could have done a little better there. And people who like her were like, we needed a little more from you. And people who are on the fence are like, now I don't know what to do. Right? That's kind of been the general consensus since the presidential debate. Am I wrong there?
No, and I will say that Vance does have probably the hardest job out of any four of them because
Yeah.
he has to make Trump look good. And
Correct.
that's fucking hard. And I'm not saying, like, because
Yeah.
Trump will look good, like, Trump could, like, have a ritual sacrifice on live television of, like, sacrifice children on live television. His base would still love him. Would still,
I
like,
yeah.
he has outright, and I think I said this before, he outright admitted, he goes, I could shoot someone in front of everyone, like on Fifth Avenue, and not lose a single voter, and he's not wrong because it
No,
is a
he's not
cult.
wrong.
It is a cult of personality. Um, and I'm not saying like all Trump supporters are like that, but his base is because like
Yeah.
my dad voted for Trump in 2016. My dad's a lifelong Republican. I don't personally know who he voted for in 2020. I feel like he voted third party because he didn't want to vote for Trump again. He owned a MAGA hat, a Make America Great Again, and he had a MAGA hat. He burned it, um, and he was actually pretty close to not voting for Trump in 2016 because, like, I think it was the whole Trump of like the whole thing of like that the Hollywood Access Online or Hollywood Online, whatever that clip was called, where he said grab him
Access
by the
Hollywood.
Access Hollywood,
Yeah, grab him by the pussy. Yeah.
when he said that, and then everyone was defending him. Well, that's just how guys talk, and that blah blah. That's just locker room talk. And my dad got offended by that. He goes, "Well, that's not how I talk.
Right.
Like, I don't talk like that." And I'd be like, "Well, Dad, I hope not. You have a daughter, so
Right.
I hope you're not talking like that." And but so my dad almost didn't vote for him. But then I don't know who he voted for. But then he, without prompting, because we like my dad and I will kind of talk about politics. Like when I go to his house, like we'll watch and he'll watch like ABC News, like with David Muir. We'll watch like the 6 o'clock news or whatever. And so anytime they have a news story about Trump, my dad's like, can we just stop talking about this guy? I was like, well, he needs
Right.
to stay out of the news then.
Right.
And so he, without me prompting, he said, "Oh, I got my mail-in ballot," and he just like sent me a picture of him voting for Harrison Walz. Granted, I admit that he would probably say this too. It's more against Trump than anything, which is fine. Which is fine. Like
Yeah.
I say, like I'm not out here defending Kamala and Tim Walz because I don't fully support, like, because Kamala's a flip flopper too. She has gone
Yeah.
back and forth. This is all politicians. All politicians have gone back and forth. Whatever. We're human. We're allowed to change, and obviously they have to go wherever the wind blows, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
and so I'm not saying I will say I am more voting for Kamala and Walz than against Trump, as opposed to in like 2016, say Hillary and Trump. I was more voting for Hillary because like to despite Trump, basically. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was more of an against Trump vote in 2016, where this time it's more like 60-40. like a
Yeah.
60-40 split of like, okay, I'm more voting for Kamala and Walz, and like 60%, and then like 40% is because I'm voting against him.
Yeah.
So I will say it's not. So like, and I will say like we said, Vance is smart. Vance knows how to talk, knows how to play the game. So he does have the hardest job out of all of them. Where Walz does have a pretty hard job because he has to stand behind Harris's policies. And I will say, like, everyone's always like, we just don't know what her policies are. We do. No one's just fucking listening. She doesn't make it. She doesn't have rally after rally after rally, just constantly talking about her policies. So Walz has to try to enunciate these policies, but it's a little more difficult because she's not very forthcoming on
Right.
every single thought that crosses her mind. She's not twittering at 3 o'clock in the morning of her
Right.
thoughts, you know? So it's kind of hard to get a read on her because she's not a big baby, like, man child, you know?
Right.
But Vance has the hardest job because he has to not only toe the Trump line, not the party line, the Trump
The
line,
Trump line.
the
Yeah.
Trumpism thing, where even Trump seems to sometimes not agree with Vance, because like he'll like make fun of Vance, like he'll make fun of Vance openly,
I've noticed.
and then because that's how Trump is. Trump is a bully, and so
He did it on the debate stage. He
yeah, he's like,
said,
"Oh, watch me instead," or whatever. And so, like, or like in like when Vance was about debating, and Trump like posted on Twitter or Truth Social or whatever it is, he said, "Oh, just watch me do whatever," and it's like, but they're supposed to be watching your VP nomination. They're both supposed to be watching the guy that makes you look good. Especially Vance helps bring the more moderate conservatives to the table,
correct.
where yes, he has a lot of outlandish views, like the whole he seems very against women, even though he has a wife and he has kids. I'm not sure. Does he have a daughter or just a son or what? I don't know.
I
But
don't know. I don't know that he's so much against women as he is for a certain picture of what womanhood in a family should be. I don't
yeah,
think it's necessarily that he's against women. It's just it's a very specific version of what he thinks a woman and womanhood should be. So,
yeah. So I'm not disagreeing with you on.
yeah.
I do think that I'm trying to remember what, like, one of the things you said where I was like, I don't really see that. Um, where it was like he 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 gets the interview, like, I'm sure the debate he did seem more focused than like in interviews,
Very
because
much
interviews
so.
I've seen of him, like interviews, like even not like even on like podcasts or stuff, that's where he kind of spouts his more out there views, where
Yeah.
his more Handmaid's Tale point of view comes in. And he, like you said, they might say that they're not a part of Project 25, but Vance is definitely a part of the Heritage Foundation,
Correct.
because he, the guy that runs the Heritage Foundation, I think his name's Kevin Roberts, is writing a book, and JD Vance wrote the foreword for it.
Right.
He's also praised the Heritage Foundation in different reports. They have like a yearly report. He's praised them in their yearly reports. Like I found, let me read one little, I found this on Forbes where, um, yeah, it says Vance, however, openly has close ties with the Heritage Foundation. And this article's from either yesterday or Monday. What day does it say? October 1st, so yesterday. Vance, however, openly has close ties with the Heritage Foundation and its founder, Kevin Roberts, who told reporters the organization was privately really rooting for Vance to be the VP pick, and told Politico in March that the senator is absolutely going to be one of the leaders, if not the leader, of our movement. Vance penned the foreword to Roberts' forthcoming book, in which he quoted Roberts as saying, "It's time to circle the wagons and load the muskets," and praises the Heritage Foundation as the most influential engine of ideas for Republicans from Ronald Reagan to Donald Trump. Also noting Roberts' book explores many of the themes I've focused on in my own work. He has long had a relationship with the Heritage Foundation, writing the introduction to a 2017 report the group released that decries a rise in unwed births, abortion, public benefits, and the ideology of the sexual revolution, with one section lamenting women having children at older ages and spending a large portion of their most fertile years building their careers, and criticizing in vitro fertilization. So he can say all he wants that he's not behind Project 25 or not a part of it, but he is part of the Heritage Foundation, and that's still terrifying.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they can say, like, I mean, I agree. They can
Mm-hmm.
say what they want, but the facts are the facts that
Like
they
maybe
are
maybe don't put your
disagreeing with
name.
it.
Maybe don't author things to
Yeah,
if you want to.
it's kind of difficult to say I'm not I don't want anything to do with this when you then have something to do with it. So
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, it's pretty well documented that you do.
Right.
So maybe we just don't do that. But anyway, he has unfortunately the skills to handle as many flip flops as come his way. Because he handled it well last night when asked about several different points, um, especially the criticizing Trump part. And that was that, you know, I'm allowed to be, I was believing the rhetoric. And he is not the person that I perceived him to be through the media is not the person that I have come to know, and that has led me to change my opinion. That is what he said. And for a lot of people that's fair enough. And that's what it is. And unfortunately, or fortunately, because none of us really fucking know at this point, that is that is going to take him a long way. The fact that he is skilled on how to navigate those switches and those bumps and those hiccups and the I said this, but that's not what I really meant. And please allow me to clarify. I might have said that. He doesn't deny that he said it, or didn't, at least last night. Okay. He didn't deny that he said it. He said, I said it and I meant it, but then I changed my mind when I got to know who he was. So that looks good when you can say, yeah, I said it and I said it with my whole fucking chest, but guess what? I changed my mind because I actually got to know him as opposed to just knowing him in the periphery of watching him be the president and hearing what the media had to say. Because that's really the only way to know somebody when you don't have a personal relationship with them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good answer to me. It's going to be a good answer to most people. Again, you don't have to agree to know that that was a good way to answer that question. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
own it, don't deny it. And unfortunately, when Walls was asked about the whole Tiananmen Square bullshit,
Yeah, he kind of fumbled that.
um, he, I was I was flop sweating for him in that moment.
Yeah, because I liked how
All he had to do,
all the moderators, even the moderators, were like, "Okay, but the question was, you
right?
said
They
this."
even tried to help him.
Like,
They
but
even
like,
tried to help him.
well, I don't think they try to help him. It's more of a you didn't answer our question. They didn't let him get away with it. That to me, that's not really
Right.
helping him. That they didn't just get
Which
away. Like,
I did like because
yeah,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
no,
interrupt you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're fine. I just say because then he goes and then the way he basically phrased like if he phrased it the way JD Vance would have phrased it, it would have sounded better. If he would have just
Mm-hmm.
said, "I'm sorry, it was 40, 50 years ago, however long it was," then I just misspoke. Like I should have said the summer of that year when when it happened in June or whatever. I was actually there in August. I just misspoke. If he had the JD Vance approach and would have just said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I did say that. It's just like I just misspoke, and I'm sorry on my part. Blah blah. It was actually I was there in August. I just got my months mixed up." And there you go.
Yeah.
That's all I had to do. That's all I had to do.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, all you have to do is say, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I should have fact checked myself. But you know what? That was a long time ago. And I own it. It was a mistake. There's nothing more I can say about it. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I didn't do it when I did it. And I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie, but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry. I redact that statement and I needed to fix it. So I'm fixing it now. But I misspoke. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Own your shit. Take some accountability. No one is expecting any of these people to be 100% infallible. We're just expecting you to own your fucking mistakes when you make them.
Yeah.
And admit it and say, you know what? That was not a right choice. Let me fix it. And if I'm not equipped to do this, then let me help get somebody who can help me do this. No matter what the situation is, right? Like, admit when you do not have the skills to do something, or admit when you fucked up and said some shit you shouldn't have said, right? We're all human. Everyone has had that experience of putting their own foot in their fucking mouth. We all know what that feels like. But not many of us will ever know what it feels like to do that on a national fucking stage. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? So, like, I think we could have some empathy for that person in that moment. Be like, yeah, I've stuck my foot in my mouth many a
That's
fucking time.
that's why like it's hard for me to watch these sort of like debates and speeches and stuff because like the whole kind of like secondhand embarrassment it's about, but it's also like because I feel like I have so much empathy, it's almost like, oh, you're really saying that in front of
Yeah,
millions of people. Oh
yeah,
no. And
and
it's like
then
I can imagine me doing that.
uh-huh, and then God bless him. I knew what he meant, and I think most people understood what he meant, but because we live in the world we live in, people are going to run with this statement, and they already have. When Walls said that he's made friends with school shooters, like, we stopped the fucking video and we were backed it up, and I was like, oh no. Oh no. That's not what he said. That he didn't. That's not what came out of his mouth, is it? Is that what he said? And we backed it up and we listened to it again. And that's what I'm like, okay, one more time. I just want to make sure I didn't hear him wrong. One more time. Sure as shit. That's what came out of his mouth. I knew what he was trying to say, because what he was trying to say was, the question was, why have you changed your stance on assault rifle bans? Because at one point, he stated he would not sign a bill supporting a ban on assault rifles. Okay? Now he's saying he would. And they asked him, what changed? Why did you change your mind? His answer was, easy, because I sat in a room full of Sandy Hook parents, and a picture of my 7-year-old was behind me on the wall, and all their 7-year-olds were dead. I've made friends with these parents. I've made friends with school shooters. That's what came out of his mouth. What he meant to say was, I think what he meant to say was, I've made friends with victims of school shooters or victims of school shootings.
Or
But
I've
that's
come to
not what
know
came out of his mouth.
or I've come to know like I've sat down and talked to school shooters or something. Like maybe if he meant
Yeah.
the school shooters themselves, like because like people like when people will go and interview murderers and stuff, people that commit
Right.
crimes. Like if he would have said, because I don't know what I didn't see that part of the debate yet. So if he's talked about like I have sat down and spoke to school shooters, like say ones that regretted doing what they did, then
Right.
that'd be different if he actually meant the school shooters themselves.
Right. But the answer was quick, and then he ended it there and
Mm.
didn't say anything else. And I was like, oh, like I swear to God, I started sweating so hard after he said that, because I knew what was going to happen. People weren't going to use their brains and know that he obviously didn't mean that, right? That's obviously not what he meant to say. He had mush mouth and word salad, and it came out not correct. Especially as neurodivergent people, we know that that shit happens, okay? Sometimes words go together in a sentence that we didn't plan on going together in a sentence. Our brains inserted a random ass word there, right? Like, not the one we selected in the Rolodex, but it said, fuck it, pick one, and threw it in, right? Like, we've all been there. But he said it again on a national stage, and this is gonna be media fodder, and it is already media fodder. And that's just not, it's not a good look, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's just not a good look, and it doesn't help their case at all. And I'm not saying, again, this is, I feel like everyone's gonna think I'm like standing fucking JD Vance over here, and that's not what's happening. It's just, this is just the facts of how I'm seeing it. This is just how I see it, okay? Watching what I watch with my own two fucking eyeballs, you had caught 80% of the passes and you had caught 60% of the passes. You know what I mean?
It's basically like seeing someone. It's basically like if you were watching a high school debate, you have someone who has been on the debate team all 4 years, and then going
Right.
against a one-day freshman who,
Right.
like, on the very first day, like going against someone and that freshman might be better than most people at debating. Like, on the average person. Like, I feel like Walls in general is a better speaker than the average person,
For sure.
but he's not better than Vance when it comes to speaking. He's more of
No.
a he's like, I know you said that like he's not good at like quick responses and stuff. He is good like on the cuff, like as a sort of like at a barbecue type of person. Like he is the dad grilling at the barbecue and can tell a funny joke right off the bat. He's not the person speaking in front of like Harvard or Yale or wherever. So he's more of a laid back person where Vance is more he's more blue collar where Vance is more white collar. And yes, Vance has a blue collar background, so whenever people talk about like Vance would know how to do this or Vance would know how to do this, I'm like, he probably does. He grew up poor.
Right.
He didn't grow up in Appalachia like he says he did. Like he did where the town he grew up in is between Cincinnati and Dayton. He did not grow up
Yeah.
in Appalachia. That's a fucking lie. But he had family there. But Vance has a very humble, maybe at one point maybe middle class background. He does know how to do this sort of stuff, but also he just has a lot of training. He has like good schooling. So he does have a lot of more of these credentials where Walls is just more of a I mean Walls managed to get to be elected to be governor. So it's not like he's completely inept either. So
Right.
I mean, so I feel like Vance just is more of a white collar person versus um Walls' blue collar like background.
Right. I'm trying to see exactly how many. Yeah, he has a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and Philosophy. And then
From what school?
he went to Yale,
Yeah.
I
See?
believe.
So I said
So, like, he's not he's not uneducated, and he's well versed in how you, in a political science degree, you're gonna learn how to debate.
yeah.
Like, they're gonna teach you how to do that because it's part of your job. Like, Walls didn't have that kind of education. That doesn't mean that he couldn't be good on a debate stage. It just means that, like you said, it's like watching a formerly trained ballet dancer. It's like putting a formerly trained Juilliard ballerina against a high school ballerina who's the best in her class. They're both really good at what they do, but the Juilliard ballerina is gonna kick that high school girl's ass
Mhm.
because she's formally trained to do so. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. She's gonna outperform her. She's a fucking ballerina from Juilliard.
Mhm.
He's a fucking ballerina from Juilliard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and poor Vance is the best ballerina from high school. It's just not the same. It's not the same thing. So I don't know, man. It's just I am at this point concerned no matter what the outcome of the election is, it's not going to be a fun ride here in the States for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we all, and anyone with half a brain cell can know that at this point, nothing here is going as it should be. And I don't know that either side has the capacity to fully fix that. Um, I really don't. And again, you can love me or hate me for that. I don't I don't know at this point if there has been enough show and enough convincing done on the Harris Walls ticket for people like me who really don't want to vote for Donald Trump, right? Really don't fucking want to vote for him. To convince me that like they're gonna do a good job if they win. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know. I'm still very worried about it. I'm very worried about it. There are a lot of things on that side of the fence I am concerned about. And I don't know how to reconcile that right now. And I don't have a lot of time to figure that out. So, I was really hoping that last night would help me. I'm not saying I'm voting for Trump because I don't think I could force my hand to do it whether I like what's going on the opposite side of the ticket or I don't.
And it doesn't help
But
that like Kamala wants a second debate and Trump is like running from it. He goes, nah, no, it's too
and
late
see,
now.
on the other side of the fence, they're saying that they want to debate and she won't because she has all these rules that
No,
they want in
he
place and all
literally
this other
said
shit. So,
at one of his rallies, yeah, so he literally said at a rally, I want to say within the past couple weeks, because he said how many days are left until the election. So I feel like it's been in the past week or two. Um, he literally said, I would love to debate her. It's too late though. He's basically making an excuse, like he won't debate her because he says voting already started. It's too late. I'm like, okay, but there's still people who haven't voted yet. The election, yes,
right,
people can mail like early vote and mail in vote, but you're acting like voting like it's November 5th and they're asking to debate. They're not.
right.
We still have over a month. You
I don't know what it's going to change though at this point. I really don't.
I know.
I don't know what it
To me,
fixes.
it doesn't matter. It's like to me, it's like, and whenever you get a chance, you should watch that Jon Stewart video I was talking about yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
Because he's hilarious. But he said something like, you know, as one of the 6 undecided voters in the U.S., you know, after I got kicked really hard by a horse, he's like, I really just gotta look at the candidates again. And so he like played clips of both of them. And so he goes, you know, as you know, the head trauma from being kicked by the horse as one of the, you know, 6 undecided voters in the US. Like, it's just, and it's like, the fact is, at this point, does it matter? No. But I feel like, because if you're going to vote for Trump, you're going to vote for Trump. If you're going to vote for Harris, you're going to vote for Harris. There's not like
Right.
they can have a groundbreaking debate
No.
to where that will completely, like, if you're all for Trump right now, it's not like you're going to completely go for Harris. If you're all for Harris right
Right.
now, you got to completely go for Trump because of a debate. People are set in their ways. Like, so there's really, like, so will it help sway voters? Not really, but it just kind of, like you said, you're on the fence about Harris, not about voting for her, but because it's like, I just don't know. They haven't really presented their side very well, which is fair, but it's also like they have, but because she's not absolutely fucking insane, people aren't really paying attention to it as much, which is something like Jon Stewart brought up. He goes, wait, she's using numbers and statistics and policy? That's not the Harris I was promised. And he goes, he's
Right.
like, she's supposed to be vague and not saying anything. But here she is giving specifics. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, because she doesn't dominate the media cycle. She doesn't have a daily rally to where she just
But
gets
the
to
problem
ramble for
is
hours.
she needs to.
I
That's
know
the
she does.
problem.
She does. But the problem is that because Trump brings in the ratings, so Trump
I
gets the
know.
coverage.
I
So,
understand.
and Trump,
But that's also another major problem. It's
I
like this
know,
shouldn't be pay to play. This shouldn't
no.
be pay to know. And it is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's so much broken here that I don't have faith in really anyone in this current climate to fix it. I don't. I don't think anybody has shown enough of a solid plan on how the fuck we get out of this and how the fuck things start looking better. And everything that on your ears and in your the in the little thinky part of your brain, it sounds good what you're hearing Trump and Vance, well, mainly Vance, what you're hearing Vance say, right? It sounds good. They want to take care of the middle class. They want to bring back all these manufacturing jobs from overseas so that we can bring more money and stimulate our economy that way and create more jobs. That makes a lot of sense. We want to tap our own resources because we don't need to be dependent on people who literally hate our guts to get all of our natural resources that we need to run our country and to be sustainable as a nation from other fucking nations. That makes sense, especially with the fucking world climate as hot as it is right now. We need to be a little bit more self sufficient. Those things make, on the surface, make sense, right? And they're leading with these things, these common sense principles, is what he likes to say a lot. Common sense principles, common sense economics, common sense. Stop listening to the economists and start listening to common sense, right? That's what he literally just said at his Michigan uh, speech he did today, the one he did today, I was watching, that I sent you. And again, at face value, it all sounds great. But so does affordable healthcare. And so does affordable housing. And so does fucking affordable everything else. And it's like, and there shouldn't be this barrier to entry on fucking prescription drugs and just being able to have insurance. And, there's so many things that need to be fixed that unless we stop doing this two-party system bullshit, nothing gets fixed. And that's never going to change here. I don't see that changing anytime soon. So unless these people can stop fucking around and playing games and start doing the job that we pay them to do, because we forget they get paid from our fucking tax dollars that they take from us all the time, right? The tax dollars everyone's worried about being taken out of their checks, that's what pays their fucking salaries in Congress, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So we pay them to do this job. We can stop paying them to do this job. We have to use our voting power to do that. But I don't think it starts at the national level because I think the national level is so fucked right now. It needs to start lower. We need to start in our municipal governments, in our city governments, in our fucking state governments, because that's the people that are going to funnel up to the national level and get those old motherfuckers out of Congress that aren't doing the job we pay them to fucking do. Right? Like, it's an issue. It's an issue to me. They get to choose how much we pay them too, by the way, which still blows my fucking bird every time I think about that. Whether they're doing their fucking job or not, they get to pick how much we pay them.
Yep.
Which is bullshit to me. That is why I'm an undecided voter. It's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm undecided between who's clearly got a little more humanity in them and who doesn't. I'm an undecided voter because I'm undecided about the entirety of this fucking nation right now as a whole. And the entirety of our government and how it works as a whole. It's got nothing to do with the two people who are on the fucking ticket. Because if it was that simple, I wouldn't be an undecided voter. Do you know what I mean? Like if it was that simple and I thought, oh, all I gotta do is fill in that dot and it's gonna be fine. But it's not that simple. Because I don't know that any of them have a fucking solution for the problem we're in. And I know that sounds real pessimistic, but it's my fucking thoughts. And the more that people feel that way, like I do, the more they're going to want to fall back on that common sense shit that sounds good at face value, because it doesn't take as much brain power and spoons to fucking think about. Right? It's easy. It makes sense. It's common sense, right? You don't have to dig far in your brain. You don't have to think real hard about what is the effect of this long term and all this. It's easy. It's right there. And that's what they're running on. And that is going to be effective. And that, I think, is why they have a better shot at winning this than I think anybody is aware of. Other than their supporters, obviously. But I think everyone who is not prepared for him to have a better race than he's going to have, I think this just sealed the deal for this to be Trump's White House. I do. There, I said it. Do I have to like that? No. No, I don't. Because that thought scares the shit out of me for many reasons. But I think that's what happened. I think Vance just sealed the deal for him.
Or at least increased his chances.
Or at least heavily increased his chances. Where he might have been sinking from some of the shit he's been saying recently in that shitty presidential debate that we watched, Vance fixed it. Which I think we're going to see play out all through the presidency should he get it. Vance is going to fix it. And then Vance is going to run. And then Vance is going to be the next president. And that is why I wanted to talk about my conspiracy theory today. We brought it full circle. So, love me or hate me on that, agree with me or don't, that's fine, because that's the beauty of this country. We're allowed to do that. But that is what I think is going on here. I think he's a smart motherfucker, and I think we're all going to learn today. That's what I think. But we shall fucking see in 32 days.
Mm-hmm.
At the time of recording, this is October 2nd.
Yep, 33 days. Remember the 5th of November.
Days, sorry, that's right, 33 days. I apologize. So, yeah. That's all I have. Do you have any closing arguments, Amanda?
No, we can, I mean, if any I have, we can save it for next time, because, I don't know, like, I can watch the movie tonight or tomorrow, and then we record our thoughts. That way everything's still fresh in our mind, but, because we've already gone over an hour, so, yeah. I think I should save my response to all of that for part 2.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling you're going to disagree with me.
Yeah. The whole time I'm like, oh my God, Nikki, I thought I had to.
No, I don't think, hold on, let's not end it right there, because I think you think that means I support him. And I think that's what most people are going to take from this.
I think that's not, I know you don't support Trump. I know you don't.
Yeah.
It's, you more support Vance than you support Trump, because Vance is a more competent person, like, of a person. I'm not saying you do support Vance. I'm saying if you were to choose, you would support Vance over Trump. Like,
if I had to,
if you had
hitch my cart to somebody on that edge of the ticket, if I was forced to hook my cart to somebody on the Republican ticket, it would be Vance and not Trump.
Yeah.
I don't want to hook my cart to either of them. But, you know. And I'm not saying that I am not going to vote for Kamala. Because let's be real. There's no other choice if you don't want to vote for Trump. Because any other box you fucking fill is not going to matter. Right? Let's be real. That's how this works.
And
I don't want to hear that bullshit.
We don't live in a swing state. So
no, we don't live in a swing state. There's no hope. We are a blue state anyway. She's going to get Illinois. Illinois is going to be hers anyway. Does not matter. Does not matter what I say or what I do or how I feel about it, because she will win this state. That's what's going to happen. However, I'm a little fucking worried. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried as a whole. On the whole, as a whole. For my whole. And everyone else's holes.
Because we're all a-holes.
So don't give up on me yet. I'm not saying what you all think I'm saying. I had to get that out.
You had
Because
thoughts, and
last
you had to
night.
express them.
Exactly. Because last night was not what I was hoping for. I truly, truly meant what I said to you when I said this hurts. Because I wanted Walls to come out and be like, this fucking clown over here is gonna learn today from old fucking Uncle, whatever his name is.
Walls.
What's his
Tim.
name? Walls? Tim
Tim.
Walls. I almost said Mike Walls, but I know that's not right. Tim Walls. Oh, we're gonna learn from old Uncle Tim today.
It's easy to remember because they call him Tampon Tim, as if that's an insult. So that's all I have.
Okay. Whatever. But anyway. God, I hope he can. Okay, we're gonna stop. This is just gonna keep going if I keep talking. All right, we're gonna hit the fun and fuckery portion. Thank you for listening to my most likely misunderstood message of JD Vance. And I think I'm gonna title it JD Vance a master debater?
A masturbator?
A masturbator? Does he fuck couch?
Does he like the upholstery? Let's go.
Here comes the fun and fuckery. Okay. We're back. Let's lighten the mood.
Since we're all depressed now. We got depressed.
Yeah. Since we're all depressed now from dealing in fucking reality, let's go back to some non-reality. I like it too much over here. We have another Mad Lib for you, per usual. Still in our where's my camera? Golden Girls Mad Libs. Amanda is giving me words today.
Yeah.
And I need to get this out of the shadow of my microphone so I can actually type. Let me back that ass up.
Back that ass up. Back that ass up. Back it up, Terry!
Okay. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Okay. Ma'am, I need an adjective from you. Oh shit, I done lost my earbud. Hold on. Couldn't hear you if I wanted to. Give me just a minute. There we go. Earbud restored. I need an adjective, please.
Is it the thank you for being a...
Yes.
Okay, the first one's a noun then.
Oh, it's in the title.
Yeah, title.
I'm not used to that.
I know. I was like, what?
It's in the title. That's why.
Yeah.
Sorry. Noun.
Hot dog.
Nice. Obviously, that's a fucking giveaway. And then an adjective.
Ignorant. That's ignorant.
That's ignorant.
I'm rhyming in Michael Jackson. That's ignorant.
That's ignorant. And another one.
Alluring.
Okay. Verb.
Fuck.
Fuck.
There's no verb ending in ing in this one.
Oh, that's a good sentence. Okay. Animal.
Aardvark. Like Arthur.
I loved that show.
Mm-hmm.
Verb.
Orchestrate.
Orchestrate. Another verb.
Smite.
Smite.
What's the past tense? Smote? Smoten?
Smote? Smote? Verb. Again, damn, lots of verbs.
I know, there's like 7 verbs. Riot.
Let's
Start a riot. That's what I thought. Riot.
Another adjective.
Bumfuck. Like bumfuck Egypt. PFE.
You know what's funny? I titled tomorrow's episode
Hmm.
Exclusion, Delusion, and Dumb Fuckery, and I was trying to figure out if dumb fuckery would end up being one word, and I ultimately decided it is.
Okay.
But that just reminded me of that dumb fuckery. We used bumfuck. Okay, another. I need 1, 2, 3 verbs, please.
Flabbergast.
Okay.
Convalesce.
Sure. And another
Yeah.
one.
Disassociate.
Something I would like to do right
Mm-hmm.
about now. Another adjective.
Igneous.
Igneous.
Yeah, like
Like the
magma.
rocks.
Yeah.
I remember geology shit. I was good at earth science.
Mm-hmm. I like rocks.
I need an animal, please.
Llama. And yes, I did think of Emperor's New Groove.
Llama. Okay. Y'all ready for this shit? Here she go. Thank you for being a hot dog. The girls explain what it means to be a true friend. Blanche. In the South, we are known for being ignorant, loyal, and alluring. Above all else, you never fuck your friend's boyfriend, no matter how much you like him. That is a very Blanche statement, if I've
Yes.
ever heard it. Okay,
If Golden
Sophia.
Girls could cuss, they would. She would say
Oh,
that.
for sure. Okay, here goes Sophia. In Sicily, sometimes the only friend I had was an aardvark. And let me tell you something, they stink. They stink at being your friend, and they don't know how to orchestrate. What is
Pinochle.
that word?
Pinochle.
Pinochle. See, I don't know how to say things. Let me try that sentence again. They stink at being your friend, and they don't know how to orchestrate Pinochle,
Mm-hmm.
which is a game. Rose has to say, in St. Olaf, we learned to smite friends from a very early age. It was said that in years with a lot of rain, your friendships were like true silver. They would riot if you didn't care for them properly. You and making shit make sense lately. Growing up in bumfuck Brooklyn. Oh, sorry, this is Dorothy. Growing up in bumfuck Brooklyn, we had one credo flabbergast. All convalesce a few and learn to disassociate your own canoe.
She's saying
I don't know any.
we had one credo. Like we had one credo. We had one creed. And then you start the sentence.
Flabbergast all, convalesce a few, and learn to disassociate your own canoe. There we go. That makes more
Yep.
sense. Okay, now it sounds like a sentence. That's cool. Let's try that one more time. Take 12. Um, Dorothy. Growing up in bumfuck Brooklyn, god damn it, we had one credo. Flabbergast all, convalesce a few, and learn to disassociate your own canoe. But there are only a few friends you need in this world, and I am igneous to have found mine.
She's
And
fired up.
Sophia, yeah, she's fired up like that lava. And then Sophia again. That's nice, pussy llama. Too bad you all had to wait until you were almost dead to find them. That's nice, pussy llama.
Pussy llama.
Because she always calls her pussycat in the
Yep.
show.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice, pussy llama. Too bad you all had to wait till you were almost dead to find them. Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
That's all we have for you today.
Yeah, for real. It's all I have in me, period, I think. I've officially hit a wall. I have no things left. Julie, tell him what's up, man.
Julie, do the thing!
I'm afraid there are no more things to do.
There's no more things to do. So, we are going to go bye-bye now. Let's say bye, Bones. I'm gonna say bye to Bones. Here, hang on. Let's put Bones back in frame. Come here, you fucker. Say bye to
Betty
your friends,
Bones.
Bones.
Click.
Okay, fuck off. So he's Bobby Bones is saying goodbye, signing off, and all the podcasty things, you know what to do. All the things will be in the show notes that we talked about, like the Fundie as in like fundamentalist Christian Fundie Fridays channel, where that original JD Vance video is. I will link the video, probably not the channel itself, but
And
the video I watched.
he just covered Project 2025. If you guys want to learn more about that, he did kind of an hour and
Yeah.
a half long video. I just watched that yesterday, I think.
I need to finish that. I started it, but I started it when I was very tired, so I need to rewatch it. So I'll probably do that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Probably before we record, and then because we did say we were going to do a Project 2025 video,
Yeah.
and then we've yet to do so. So that might be a good jump off point for that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all the podcasty things in the show notes, in the comments, the descriptions, the wherever the fuck I put them. Facebook is where we are most active. It's where our community is most active. Come hang out with us over there. We do have an Instagram. There's some folks over there, but not a ton. And we have other things, but if you want to find us, everywhere socials are platformed, it's just at the NDC podcast. THENDC podcast. All the places that platform the socials. And then we also have a Reddit. We are u/not neurotypical girls on Reddit. Have not posted a goddamn thing because I don't know how to use it, but we're there.
I've never posted on Reddit. I just usually surf Reddit.
So yeah, there it is. We will talk to y'all next week about how we felt. Have any of our stances changed on Vance? Have we learned anything new that we want to talk about after watching Hillbilly Elegy? We might, if it's not enough to talk about, maybe we'll just prep for a Project 2025 video and just sort of give our commentary on Vance in the beginning and then roll into Project 2025. Okay. All right. To be continued next week. We will talk to y'all later.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.